Welcome to Recovering Addict. I'm your host, LT, an alcoholic addict.
I'm your co-host, Felice Weaver, here for any answers or questions you might have about living with an alcoholic addict, what it's like. Just ask away.
Yep, that's what she's here for. She's got that Al-Anon feel. She had to live with an addict for over 5 years. And when I said, well, she lived with an addict since we've been married. She just didn't know how much of an addict I was until I became a full-blown alcoholic. And I am talking pounding whiskey. Well, the first half of my alcohol career in my late 30s was partying and dragging her around to parties and her watching me get wild, falling off horses, breaking my ribs and that kind of stuff. And then the last half after my son's accident stuff was watching me be a complete recluse, solo drinking, whiskey pounding, alone in the basement, only come up to cause trouble and dive into the fridge kind of guy. But that was me. Drink till I get sick, get up, rinse and repeat. And rarely would I rinse. I would just repeat. And so that was me just trying to do away with something. I don't know. At first it started out fun. When I started drinking, I did it because I enjoyed it. It made fun times funner. I love partying. I love laughing. I love being just out of control. And then it turned into something else. But I don't know that I ever really was trying to suppress pain or anything with it, but maybe I was trying to cope. I think towards the end after Link's accident, there was a little to do there just because of guilt, but I don't know, man. I just thank God I checked myself into an IOP and went through rehab and recovery took place. And now what I talk about when I say recovery took place is there's the miracle that happens that you hear about. You hear about a paradigm shift. Your eyes are open to recovery. And in step 5, which we're going through right now through the book, the Steps We Took by Joe McHugh, that is when this has to happen. This epiphany about recovery must happen here, I believe. And I believe this is kind of what I came to, the conclusion I drew today when I was reading everything, preparing for the show. Because if you don't understand the exact nature of your wrongs, how in step 6 are you going to be willing to have God remove them? And then how are you going to humbly in step 7 ask God to remove your shortcomings? If you don't have this epiphany, if the blinders of denial are still wrapped around your head, if you're still living in character defects, criticizing people and justifying your actions to make yourself feel better, you're still living for self. If you're still living for self, and we'll get into all that, but I think right here is just like a must that we gotta get this, that this is the point where this recovery epiphany happens. And with that big O to do, let's say hi to everybody in the chat. What's up, Alicia? Hi, Mommy. Happy Mother's Day. There's my mommy.
Aww.
I got to go and hug and give my mom a kiss today. That was wonderful. Marilyn, how are you doing? Happy Mother's Day from her to you.
Thank you. Happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful mothers out there.
What's up, David? Glad you're back.
You.
I love that picture of you guys in there. It's a really good looking picture. I like that. Marilyn again. Michael Teeter. Right on. That's a man I just keep getting to know more and more every day, and I love every minute of it. Petey, as usual. I love it when Petey's here. So I just feel positive energy from Petey. Love it. Ready for another great show. Well, I hope I can provide you a great show tonight. I hope we can understand recovery and the importance of recovery and the desire to stay sober, and that it's so much more. Once that happens, once that epiphany happens, once that paradigm shift happens, once your eyes are open, once you pull your head out of the bucket. I heard one guy said the best time of his life is when he heard this loud, and it was his head coming out of his, and that was the moment for him. So I want this to happen because once it does happen, you realize, oh, okay, getting sober only had this much to do with it. Getting clean and staying off drugs, being abstinence from drugs, and doing whatever it takes to get there, right? And then all of a sudden recovery becomes this whole life-changing, relationship-changing, just this whole huge thing that's an endless journey of rewarding pleasure and joy. And I just hope that I can convey that. Did you see Happy Mother's Day to you from Alicia?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, no worries, Dustin. Thanks for the love and thanks for coming in and saying hi. I'm glad. Started reading the big book and wrote some notes. Right on. Good. Commit and read. And then once you're done committing and reading it, bring back little nuggets that you learn. Like, hey, man, I just learned this. Let us know. Please keep us posted. Merk, what's up, brother? Hung out with you earlier today. That was awesome.
World.
Don't worry about spell check, spell correct. I can kind of read through them because I have the worst grammar and I have the worst spelling in history. If Alexa wasn't sitting here and there wasn't spell check, I would be screwed. I would literally, if I had to use an old-fashioned typewriter, I'd just light it on fire and leave. Aaron, what's going on, Aaron? Glad to hear. See ya. Glad to see that face. There's another positive, awesome, loving, warm person in recovery right there, Aaron.
Yeah, we love you, Aaron.
Big time. Jeffrey, what's up, brother? How you doing? We are doing good. Today was a good day. Went and got to see my mama. And then we went over to her mama's house and ate some tri-tip. Kids got to see everybody. Oh, Maddie. There's my literal brother. Well,
hey, Matt.
Not blood brother, but he's my brother. This is okay. So the handsome fellow you see in that circle right there on your screen, Maddie C. It was weird because I was in my active addiction. This is probably the last 6 months, maybe to a year of it. Me and him had drank together at some of these points. But it got to a point where I hadn't seen Matt for a while. We worked in different buildings, but we worked together, FYI. And I was just struggling. Everybody I talked to, within 2 minutes, the conversation would turn to me saying, I need to quit drinking. I need to quit drinking. I drink too much. Oh my goodness, I drink so much, and I was always talking about it. Knew I had a problem, but I wasn't quitting. And I was still, my hands were shaking. I was still sweating out whiskey. And I ran into Matt and he's like, bro, I had the same problem. I was like, what? But I knew we partied and drank. So we partied and drank together before. And I knew he would tie one on and he would tie it on right along with me, but I didn't realize he was where I was at just months before. And so I tell Matt, I'm like, dude, I need to quit drinking. He's like, you really have to want it. And I was like, okay, cool. So what'd you do? And he's like, I checked myself into an IOP. I was like, what? I was like, what the heck? Are you serious? You checked yourself into a treatment? So he tells me all about his treatment facility and tells me all how many days. I think at that point he had 100 and some odd days clean or more. And I was just like, wow. So every time I seen Matt at work after that, I was just like watching him like, whoa, look, he's doing it. That's what I want to do. Oh, look, there goes Matt. He's doing it. I want to do. So I just kept talking to Matt and he finally gets me to, or actually after my weekend of that brutal 3-4 gallon drinking spree that weekend I went on, I checked myself into the hospital and then I talked to Matt and he's like, get your butt down there. And so he's a huge step in my story as to how I quit drinking and how I got introduced to the intense outpatient program that I went to for 5 months. And I got to sit there with him for 3 or 4 of them. And he transitioned out because he was already there a couple months by the time I had gotten there, but it was a good thing he was there. It was nice to walk in, see a friendly face, somebody who like looks at you and knows what you're going through. And I was struggling to be there. And he was pep talks, just keep coming back, dude. Don't quit. Don't quit. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, everybody give Maddie a big special shout out. That's long story short, just to say, I sure love the guy right there. What's up, Christopher? Welcome to the show. Thank you for the happy Mother's Day to my wifey.
Thank you very much. I appreciate all the happy Mother's Days. It was a good one.
We got a special show for you guys tomorrow with Michael Teeter. Definitely going to be awesome. Charlene, welcome. Happy Mother's Day to all. First Mother's Day sober. How many of you in the chat, if you're mommies, this is your first sober Mother's Day? That's a good positive. It's my first Mother's Day sober. We would still probably be at Felice's mother's house drinking. I would be drinking. She wouldn't be, but I would be.
Honestly, it's nice because we probably would have fought at some point today.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So it's peaceful.
I would be slurring my speech right now.
And I enjoy it.
Aubrey, what up, man? We got Mo in the house. How you doing, Mo? Did I miss somebody? I feel like I missed somebody in the chat. Christopher Wilson, we said hello to. I hate to not. Oh, that's one I wanted. It's a beautiful autumn day today, and it was good. My dogs took me out for a while. Right on. Yep, Maddie's the man. He has a lot to do with my sobriety, more than he probably even knows. There he is. I love you too, brother. Oh, good. Well, that's good. That's positive that you're still clean, but I'm sorry for your loss at the same time. Bittersweetness. Oh, Kat. That's who I didn't say hi to.
Okay.
Hi, Kat.
I got it.
Welcome. We got our packages together there. We'll be shipping out tomorrow. I just made up my mind when I was ready. Drank myself until I drank the last drop of vodka, threw the bottle in the trash, and told my first ex-husband to call an ambulance. My first Mother's Day sober too, 150. Nice. Call an ambulance. That is dramatic. Mine was similar. I showed you guys the picture before of me. Half gallon of whiskey on my lap early in the morning. And that's what I did, you know. I was a nasty drinker, man. I drank way too freaking much. I'm lucky to be alive, pretty much. Lucky to be alive. All right, so let's get into our 24-hour thought of the day for May 10th. And this is talking right to me. And this is awesome. I'll kind of explain how I feel about it. And hopefully you guys feel the same with the community that we are building. So think about the community on private Facebook, our Discords, our Zoom meetings, this and everybody in the chat, this whole community, all of us together are building. One thing that keeps me sober is a feeling of loyalty to other members of the group. I know I'd be letting them down if I ever took a drink. And you can talk about drugs, just change drink for drugs. You would be letting them down. I would be letting you all down if I ever took a drink. When I was drinking, I wasn't loyal to anybody. I should have been loyal to my family, but I wasn't. I let them down by my drinking. When I came to AA, I found a group of people who were not only helping each other to stay sober, but were loyal to each other by staying sober themselves. Am I loyal to my group? And this was part of my relapse prevention that I read in my group. And I saw my counselor laugh and shake his head when I said it. I said, but I'm going to put myself out there so that I have to live above reproach. And obviously inside, I want to stay sober. I want to stay clean. I want to do good. But if I put myself in a position where if I drink, like Paulie the other day told me when I talk to Paulie all the time. He told me, he goes, you can't relapse, dude. If you relapse, we're screwed. And I'm like, oh, geez. But then on the same note, that's good for me and my wife because I've put myself in a position to where the repercussion will be worse if I drink. I can imagine the emails, the text messages and stuff I would get if I didn't show up for 3 days and then Felice gets on here by herself and he's out in the shop. He's wasted and he won't come in, you know?
Yeah, that would suck.
That would be
hey guys. Boo.
That would suck. Do you guys feel that loyal to the group that we are building here at Recovering Addict, here over at Sober James? I consider Sober James and the people that are on his side that has started watching him and vice versa, just the whole community, Sober James here and us just building a huge community. We're always in each other's Zoom meetings and posting comments, then Discords and just reaching out and talking. And then sometimes we get close enough to where we're actually cell phone friends. I'm not going to say what Polly calls that, but The Last Dance episode, what? Freaking Paulie. Is that one of those one shows?
The Last Dance. I don't know. We're going to have to watch it, I guess. What's it about, Paulie?
Oh, sweet. I'll be at work tomorrow. I hope. It's the plan. The plan is I'll be at work. 2:35, you're going in an hour early? Jeez, dude.
Yeah.
2 hours early. But I'll be there. Charlene says, I could never go back afraid to what would happen. Yeah, me too. That's good. Uglify that. Gotta uglify it. We're all done. Pull you out of that shop. We all got each other here. I'm glad, Merc. I'm sharing y'all's broadcast every time I'm here, so new people that are here could be here because, amen. Good. We never know who we could reach. You know, it's just like Maddie. Had Maddie not walked past me and told me, hey, I had to check myself into an IOP program, I wouldn't be here. You never know by sharing your story, sharing a message, sharing any type of literature, taking a picture of some literature and post, you know, you don't have to like weigh yourself down and just, you know, because you never know. You just let God do the work. You throw it out there and it's up to God. Page 417 of the big book is the way it was meant to be, you know? Yes, Mark. Welcome to our job. We have to get up and spend our life in that prison. I mean, we get to go to a great, wonderful place.
Puts food on the table.
Look at Holly Brady's in the comments. Doing good.
Hey, Holly.
She's got
Glad you're here.
second day of sobriety under that girl's belt. Feels better already. Just get through it, Holly. Just knuckle down and rely on your higher power. Reach out, reach out, reach out, because you can't do it alone. Pam says, for my birthday in February, I got the breaking the chains of addiction with my recovery date on it with my clean recovery date in it. So relapse isn't a word in my vocab. Awesome. For my birthday in February, I got the breaking chains of addiction with my recovery as a tattoo. Is that what I'm reading?
I'm not sure.
And so I think that's a tattoo. My cousin Trina, I went to her house and she just had barely subscribed to me about a month or so ago, because I didn't really tell my family what I'm doing here. But I noticed she subscribed, and we met up at the funeral a few weeks ago at my aunt's funeral, and she showed me her arm, and she's got her sober date tattooed on it. It says sober, and then has a date. I was like, sweet.
It's actually my birthday. I was pretty excited.
Oh yeah, it was your birthday, huh?
Uh-huh.
What's up, Merd? How you doing? Good, bro. Good. All right, here's the meditation. Let me get to this comment. I can just get lost. I could talk just for hours over these comments. It's good 10 years for me now. We'll talk about when I started. I was there, all proud for your accomplishments. Thanks, brother. Awesome, brother. Thank you. Chicago Bulls from the 90s. It's 10-part. Oh, yeah, I want to see that too. Did you know I seen the Bulls play the Pistons back in 90? Shoot. When was this? 97, 90, 96? Probably 96. I saw the Bulls in Detroit play the Pistons, win it a double overtime. I saw Rodman. I saw Jordan. I saw Pippen. On the Pistons side, I saw Grant Hill and that whole team. It was pretty cool. Double overtime. Went out and up on the roof, smoked a cigarette, and it made me sick because I was only like 15 years old. Oh, he'll be there at 4:15. Oh, because that's any better. I'll be there about 4:30 and 30 seconds on the dot. If I'm not late. We'll see. Yes, Holly, you got this. You got this.
Thanks for the happy Mother's Day, Raina.
Raina's on. Oh, good. How are you feeling, Raina? Look, there's Jackie. Got to meet her today. She's awesome. Totally good energy from her. That was way awesome.
Yeah, Jackie's cool. I like you, Jackie.
Pam, if you want me to show the photo, you could send it to this email address real quick. Send it to that email, recoveringaddict8@gmail.com. Give me a thumbs up if you did. I'll check my email. I'll pull it out and I'll post it real quick if you want me to show it to everybody. Totally up to you. All right, meditation of the day. Calmness. Calmness is constructive good. Agitation is destructive good. I should not rush into action. I should first be still and know that He is God. Then I should act only as God directs me through my conscience. Only perfect trust in God can keep me calm when all around me are agitated. Calmness is trust in action. I should seek all things that can help me to cultivate calmness to attain material things. The world learns to attain speed. To attain spiritual things, I have to learn to attain a state of calm. That's true. Calm in no matter what's going on around you. I pray that I may learn how to have inner peace. I pray that I may be calm so that God can work through me. Amen. Me too. I pray that. Okay, so step 5. We've been talking about step 5, and yesterday we went through the importance of the person that you pick. Can anybody remind me of some of the things that stuck with you from yesterday about step 5? Or do you have any advice from the step 5 you took? Because today we want to talk about the exact nature of your wrong. What is the exact nature of your wrong? What that means when you're actually telling somebody, and why you're going to tell somebody some of the dark stuff that you've done. And I hope to offer a little relief in the fact that you're going to tell somebody the stuff that you've done, the person that you're going to tell it to. So hopefully after tonight, you may have a good idea of the type of person or the somebody that you want to choose to actually tell it to. Because now that I've actually studied step 5 in this depth, and that's why they say do it over and over again. So technically this would be the second time I've gone through step 5, but this would be the first time I've really dug into step 5. Thank God, God took me to my sponsor that I did, because I know he understands why he was here in my step 5 and the stuff that he told me in reflection to my step 5. But when you're choosing somebody to talk to your step 5, make sure that they understand this. And this is going to offer some relief as soon as we get there. And once I tie that together, you'll see what I'm talking about. So we talked about all that, right? Who do we choose? But step 5s, we admit the exact nature of our wrong. It doesn't say we admit our wrongs. So you're not there just admitting your wrongs, right? We can get bent out of shape when we think we have to discuss our wrongs. All people are defensive in this area, but our wrongs are not the focus of this step. The focus of this step is specifically stated as the exact nature of your wrongs. So that should offer some relief in this sense. You're going to go tell this person some of the darkest stuff you've done, right? But in telling this person isn't looking at you and judging you for what you did, what your actions were. This person's looking past that and into what the exact nature that led you to do that is. So the person that you say this to should be a good person that has a good amount of sobriety. You know they're going to keep their mouth shut and they're wise in recovery and they've worked the steps themselves and they understand. And then you should feel the relief that you're not here. You're giving this over to God by saying this, because you're going, God, look what I have done. And look at what drove me to do it, the exact nature of what caused me to go to these actions. So feel the relief that the person you're about to read this to is not going to judge you on what you actually did, not the actions you took, the crimes you made, whatever you're going to tell this person. But he's going to go a little deeper behind it. He's going to look past that. And you're going to look past that. And you're going to look at the exact nature so that in step 6, we can ask God or we can be entirely ready to get rid of these character defects, because it's the exact nature that drove us to do the things that we did in our addiction. And that's what we need to pinpoint. And finding the exact nature is that paradigm shift that I was talking about earlier. So we have to look at resentments. And resentment is a wrong judgment. Fear is a wrong believing, and harm to others is wrong action. So those 3 basic things we analyzed in step 4. And yet these resentment, fears, and harm themselves are not even what we are discussing in step 5. Step 5 is still a little more in detail. In step 5, we ask, where did these resentments, fears, and harms done to others originate? The exact nature. The exact nature is the origin of these things and the inherent characteristic of these things. We have examined them as we went through the inventory process in step 4. For example, with resentments, we found the exact nature of each resentment in the 4th column. Okay, I'm going to pull this up here. And you guys, if you want to take a screenshot of it, go ahead. Did she give me a thumbs up about a picture?
I didn't notice.
You got to pay attention to these when I'm blabbing.
I'm paying attention to lots of things right now.
Good. It's good.
Doing my best.
That's real good. That's real good. I'll check my email. Hodge twins.
Yeah.
Let me check my email real quick. Make sure she doesn't have a picture for me. I'll be waiting. All right. So that's what I was going to do. I want you to see this real quick. Let me take off this email and let me put up the picture. This is what's in the book, okay? Go ahead and take a screenshot of that. I want you to notice in the far right column, because this is what we're going to talk about. The first column you're going to look at is you're going to be your resent flat, right? You fill all that out. The second column, you're going to go, here's the cause of my resentment, right? And then in the third column is where, how did this affect one of your natural instincts, your social, your security, your sex, and your ambition instincts? Was it self-esteem? Was it material, all that? And then you drive it over one more column. What is the exact nature of my wrongs, my faults, mistakes, defects, and shortcomings? Was I selfish? Was I dishonest? Was I self-seeking? Was I frightened? Was I inconsiderate? Because behind every one of your character defects is one of those. And if you notice in that far right column on the top and bottom in that black tab, it says, this is our business. Now remember that. Focus on this is our business. Because that's the exact nature. And that's the exact nature we're going to have God remove. Because once we pin down the exact natures of our wrong, tomorrow and the next day and the rest of our lives, we understand why we acted the way we acted. We can start asking God to remove those reactions, because a lot of these character defects are knee-jerk reactions. Here's a knee-jerk reaction example. Fleece was fired from a daycare one time. Long time ago.
Supposedly I slapped a kid. I did not slap nobody.
The kid, she's sitting there doing her job, right? The kid came up and bit her right in the back of the leg, bit her. And so Fleece, I
pushed her off.
That's a knee-jerk reaction, right?
That hurt so bad.
It's totally natural to react like that when you get bit in the back of the leg. But if somebody cuts us off in traffic, our natural knee-jerk reaction at that point is to flip them off and all this and that, right? So those are the type of character defects we want to overcome.
I did get rehired, just to clarify.
Like a couple days later.
2 days later. It's a whole long story.
So in the first column, we had the resentment. In the second column, the cause. And in the third column, the basic instinct was affected. So the first two columns, we can't change. The third column, our basic instincts that make up self, we have decided to turn over to the care of God, since only God can correct self-will. But we find in the fourth column, this is the one I was telling you about, the fourth column, the selfish, self-seeking, dishonest, fearfulness, and lack of consideration in our characters. As a result of one of these character defects, self has been out of control and allowed the whole thing to occur. I suggest if you have this book on page 77, you go down to that 5th paragraph and read that again. But we find in the fourth column, selfishness, self-seeking, dishonesty, fearfulness, and lack of consideration of our character defects. As a result of one of these character defects, self had been out of control and allowed the whole thing to occur. When you point backwards. Remember when I said the 5 whys a few shows ago in the Jefferson Memorial and how the birds were all over it in the power washing that, right? We said why? And when you get to the root cause, the exact nature, you can say because of this happened, and this happened, and this happened. So you go across from left to right of why, exact nature. And then you go, because of this exact nature, this happened, and it caused this to happen, which caused this to happen, which caused this to happen. And that's what we're talking about. As we inventory the problem, we are looking at it from an outside in, but we want to remember that the problem occurred from the inside out. That's another way of saying exactly what I was just talking about. The problem wasn't an outside in, it was an inside out problem. We've done the inventory. And what we are improving on in step 5 is to trace the problem from the outside all the way in to find the core of it, its exact nature. Let me read that one more time. What we have done in the inventory, remember how we take our inventory? And we're improving on this in step 5. We are tracing the problem from the outside all the way in to find the core of it, the exact nature. What?
Nothing. I was listening. Do you want to read William Cole's exact nature?
William Cole says, the exact nature of my wrongs was telling my secrets to my sponsor, and I was honest. It's about owning the things you have done, not putting the blame on others or making excuses. You get honest and take full responsibility of your actions. Nobody made us do these things. It was our sick thinking that kept us sick. Letting it go always heals. Life, you no longer carry those horrible things, and you tell someone they can't hurt you. Amen.
I like that. Do you want to touch on Charlene?
I have a problem with a higher power, and I don't believe in God. Well, Charlene, at this point in your 151, is that what she was right?
I can't remember.
So the point of the higher power right now, you could look at AA as your higher power, because we want you to get sober and stay sober and use the group consciousness of our group here, connect with us in our Facebook group, and use that as your higher power. If you're having a problem with God, that's kind of another issue that you're just at the beginning of this whole journey of self-betterment, looking deep inside yourself and correcting things. So just allow these processes to unfold as they will, and don't let that block you and stop you right now. Just go, okay, I don't understand this God thing yet, and just kind of continue through your progression of your recovery as you grow and you learn. You're going to have different understandings. You're going to have a clearer mind once you get past 151. You still are, if you were drinking as much as like I think you were still having post withdrawal syndrome, still having the post acute withdrawal symptoms. So give it a year, give it 2 years before you go, I can't understand this God thing, I'm done. But don't worry about it. It's a God of your understanding. So whatever you can understand at this moment, at this time, exactly in your life, understand that, and then continue to move forward through the journey. And then God, as I see him, will show you the way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my opinion on it. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a counselor. I'm nothing. I've lived through multiple addictions. I've been through jails and treatment centers, and I've ruined a lot of reputations. Better late than never, but I'm here. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you,
What's
Chad.
up, brother? Welcome, Chad.
Glad you're here.
Yeah. So
Son of Ray joined. Son Ray joined. Welcome.
Son of Ray's here. Sweet. Welcome, Son of Ray.
Ingrid Boozer said good explanation.
Thank you.
Let's see Jeff real quick.
So that's fine. We have Satan's people. Satin, like the color? Satan's people and non-religious people here, and Wicked. Yep. So I look on the universe and I saw someone that has power was a trick. Yeah, there you go. My higher power was Fleece's underwear one time. Just kidding. Just kidding.
They were clean. Amen, Ingrid.
Amen. So what are we looking for? The exact nature. You're probably going to get sick of that word. The root cause of the problem, the exact nature of us. It's now we aren't looking at nobody else. Remember what it said in the big book? Page 64? Was it 64?
She said, you're so smart. He is smart.
So putting out of our minds the wrongs others had done. Okay. I want you to realize when you're telling people about when you're doing step 5, we're not focusing on why and we resented each other. Because I could start getting into like what made me mad about the way that she acted and stuff like that. But I got to look at the reason she was acting and some of that, or the problems I was causing in our relationship. So I got to put her out of it when I start to talk and look at this inventory. And the big book on page 67 says, putting out of our minds the wrongs others had done, we resolutely looked for our own mistakes. We had been selfish, dishonest, self-seeking, and frightened. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the selfish, dishonest, self-seeking, and frightened characteristics that are within us, because it's basically one of those 4, and things stem off that like a tree, that led us to the actions that resulted in the resentments. Was I dishonest? Was I selfish? Was I self-seeking? And was I inconsiderate? Because all these problems develop inside, and that's what causes the fears, right? So on that note, let's read this. That's for Charlie. So Charlie and many members believe it. Charlene. Yeah, well, she answered that. Amen. All right. So on that note, let's look at our inspirational quote from Cassie.
Hey guys, we're here for another day on the one and only Recovering Addict. Today's quote is about hope. only in the darkness can you see the stars. Martin Luther King Jr. And as always, bring it together, guys. Let's continue to spread that love.
Thank you, Cassie.
Thank you, Cassie. You're
Cassie,
so
Cassie,
inspirational.
Cassie.
I love it.
So amazing. It just blows my mind.
So
amazing.
blessed to know you.
All right. So when we have all our fears inventoried and analyzed, when we have all our resentments inventoried and analyzed, when we have all our sex conduct and other harms we've done to others listed and analyzed, then we are going to show it to another human being. Then this other person can, because he or she is not emotionally involved, improve on the understanding we have of the information we have gathered. And if you remember back on page 75, it said basically what we're doing in step 5 is getting a second opinion. Someone that's going to help us look past the event. Because when you start talking about these events, and we'll go to this one right here real quick. I'm going to pull it up on the screen. Say like the sister one, the resentment. So the person that filled this out as an example says, she resented her sister. Why? Because they fought a lot and didn't feel the support or loved. And then it goes down, right? Now, when you're telling this to your sponsor or whoever you decide to tell step 5 to, you're going to get emotion. You are emotionally involved. So you're going to see your side of it, your misjudgment, because judgment is a misunderstanding, right? And you're going to be emotionally involved and not quite see it from another person's point of view. So this is where group therapy is very valuable. If you have a chance to get into any type of group therapy, I highly suggest it. But the person that you read this to is going to be able to look at this because he or she is not emotionally involved. They're going to improve on the understanding we have of the information we have gathered. And make sense? So what the person will do is this. He or she will look at the first column at the name of the person we resent, or the name of the fear, or the name of the harm we have done to the other. And quite naturally, there will be nothing he can do about any of them. He cannot improve on this information because it happened in the past and it can't be changed. He will look at the second column and the things also happened in the past and there is no additional information there either. But what he will begin to look at very closely is that third column right there. What affected you? How did the first and second column lead to the effect of you right there in that third column, I'm sorry. Chances are there will be some feelings and some things that were affected we didn't really notice and didn't notice that they affected us. There might be some things in the third column that we thought we were affected, but he doesn't agree. So there might be some changes, some improvements we can make in the third column by getting feedback from this person who is not involved. We might see where something we have called security instinct was really something else, and we might see it more useful that way as well. And I love that example. And it kind of reminded me of when I was going through, when they were teaching us character defects in my IOP. A lot of people, myself included, had a hard time grasping the difference between jealousy and envy. Because you would see somebody with a new boat, right? Maybe, or whatever. Be like, oh, I'm so jealous. But really, that's envy. And you had to separate and understand the definite meaning of the definite definition of each one of those terms, jealousy and envy, to understand your character defect and how to battle it. Because jealousy is trying to gain ownership. If I'm jealous and my wife is involved in my jealousy, I'm trying to own her and shove her in a closet and lock her in a prison kind of a thing. And so as we speak to somebody who's not emotionally involved, we may see it one way when actually they're going to go, I think that's over here on your maybe sexual instinct instead of your other one. So also this other human being will maybe add or take away things from the fourth column. And these are things about our character defects. And we want our information about them to be correct because this is what we are going to work in step 6 and 7. We want to be correct about the exact nature. Now that's where I was getting about where this epiphany has to happen. And I think true understanding. If it doesn't happen your first time through, go back and do the steps again. Because recovery, we have to work the rest of our life. And I think the deeper understanding we can get in it, the better we are going to be ourselves for our family. And then think about it when 2, 3, 4 years down the road, we become sponsors. Like a Tommy out there. We could be, like a Tommy, the greatest sponsor in America. So we have to understand the correct. We want them to be correct because, like I said before, remember in my 5 whys, they thought it was the birds and the bird poop on the building that was making the problem of them having to power wash it. So they put nits around the Jefferson Memorial. And by doing that, they were trying to solve the wrong problem because that wasn't the exact nature of the problem. The exact nature of the problem is the lights were on too long. So they cut the lights back, solved every problem they had. So if you're not digging down deep in your 4th step, chewing it over in your 5th step with another human being and finding out exactly what your exact nature is, you're going to have a hard time with step 6 and 7 asking God to remove. What if you're asking God to remove the wrong things, but your life is still kind of unmanageable because you're living in a dry drunk type syndrome? It's because you didn't find the exact nature of your wrongs.
And all you non-addicts out there, this goes for you too, because if you're sitting there and you have all these resentments towards the addict you're living with, you're not fixing your own character defects, and you're going to just be absolutely miserable, and you're never going to get the help that you need to be able to move past their addiction and to help them eventually once they decide to quit. Or if they've quit already, you guys can just grow together.
Yep, agreed. And Alicia has it. She's nailed that. If you don't have a sponsor, get one. Seriously. And do you remember when we were at that one AA meeting over here at that church? And the guy was like, I went to doctors, I went to psychiatrists trying to get clean, and I went to this and I went to that. And then all of a sudden I showed up in this room and you're telling me that plumber over there is going to help me fix myself.
Yeah.
That was so funny. That is true, man.
Yeah.
Find you a sponsor, somebody who's been there, done that, worked the steps, got some sobriety, has that twinkle in their eye that you're looking for, and work with them. Alicia, you're absolutely right. My health back. Me too. I'm trying to get my health back as well. It's 27 years clean. Wow, good. I got 15 days clean, by the way, guys. I'm right where I need to be. Amen, Jeffrey. You are.
Awesome,
keep coming
Jeffrey.
back and keep pressing. Has anybody talked to Cody W lately?
I'll just reach out to his wifey.
Yeah. What's up, Corey?
Hey, Corey.
Welcome to the show. Hey, now Tommy belongs to Paul. I know, dang it.
He's going to fight you.
I'm supposed to go to an intense IOP program for 4 days. A week after my detox for a few months, my job wouldn't allow me to go. Oh,
that's a bummer.
I was at the point where I told my supervision, I said, if you have to fire me, go ahead. I don't care. I'm done. I have to do this. So I didn't care at that point. Go ahead.
I was just going to click on Jeffrey. The newcomers may not know anything. If they're here, it's there in our job on here to show them that way. And I am grateful I joined the recovery group. It has helped me so much. Sorry,
Amen,
I
Jeffrey.
can't see and read, apparently. No human power can ever relive your alcoholism. I was stubborn and finally gave in to my HP.
Higher power.
Cody says he's okay. Working this weekend.
Thank you,
All right,
Mark.
cool. Thanks, Mark.
Makes my heart feel better.
We can't right now. AA meetings. Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
That's why we're setting up
So
this virtual
frustrating.
stuff that you're looking at right here. So my goal with the stuff that we're doing behind the scenes is to set up a huge virtual relapse prevention program that's all going to be online until we can get it back to face-to-face. And hopefully by the time we get it back to face-to-face, we got some things going around here for this community. All right, where are we at here? We still got, oh my goodness. It always takes longer than I thought. I'm like, yeah, we're going to finish tonight. We'll get through this tonight.
You're so optimistic. Glass half full.
There's
Empty?
just
full.
so much that needs to be like, it was funny because when you look at step 5, I mean, just look at it. Just look at it. Would you look at this? Just look at it. Just look at it. Just look at it.
It's like the news. You have to wait for it to come back around.
Admitted to God, to ourselves, and another human being the exact nature of our wrong. No big deal. That sounds easy. And when I actually did my step 4, I wasn't really sure of what to do. I was like, when do I do my step 5? You know, they're like, go talk to your sponsor and you're done. I was like, what? That's it? But no, you start digging into it. Think about the 3 things you're doing there. You're admitting to God. And what does it take to admit to yourself?
Yeah, you have to quit lying to yourself.
Your blinders have to come off. You got to be honest with yourself. And then to get up the courage to go talk to another human being about the exact nature of your wrongs. That means talking about some of the dark crap that you don't want nobody to know, talking about the insecurities and fears in your life, and then going just a little bit deeper than that to see what is inside your heart and in your soul that led you there, and then attacking that. And then that's when you are finally ready for step 6. The steps are genius. Freaking genius.
Shout out to Maritza.
Shout out to the 12 steps. Where is she? Is she on here?
No, but if she ever watches this one, she was my lady.
Yeah. Okay, so no 2 people are exactly alike. We know this. And everybody's program's different. You got to run the program you got to run because that's what you got to do, right? And they vary from one of us to the other. So we know that people are different. So we need to look down the columns and see patterns of problems in areas that are mine. Maybe I have a lot of dishonesty. Maybe I have a lot of fear. I can work on these things that are mine, and it doesn't do me much good to say, well, I'm just like everybody else. Yeah, no, you can't run your life off of that. That's why you have to dig deep, look in the columns, and look for patterns. What's your biggest character defect? You'll see a pattern of as you go through this. What did I write in here? So we're going to go through each inventory, and we're going to walk all the way across to the 4th column and examine the exact nature of our wrong. You may choose to call them faults, defects, mistakes, shortcomings, or whatever you choose. These are different words for essentially the same thing. I need to see that the problem started with me, not with those other people. Understand? The problem started. That's what we're looking for. This is a self-evaluation. This is a self-opening. We're peeling the onion. You've heard that before, right? We're peeling the layers of the onion back, and we are the onion. We're not looking for other people's faults. And once you have that epiphany and you open your eyes and you start understanding character defects and how they run your life, you're going to have to practice the, opposite of criticism. Criticizing is non-judgmental. You're going to have to learn how to be non-judgmental because you're going to run into people all over the place who are living in their character defects, and you're going to recognize it. And you're going to be like, whoa, that's his character defects right there. And you have to not judge them and understand that they didn't get to learn what you learned.
I fell for it. He's trying to freak me out.
What?
He said, who is that behind you? I did one of these. He said, I got you.
That's awesome.
Thought there was like ghost people, man. I'd be putting that up there. I was like, what is it?
Oh, dude, that's a good one. I'm still in that. Next
Anchored
comment.
hearts, man. You guys are trouble.
That is awesome. I love it.
It's not funny.
All right. So the things in the 4th column are what we are going to work on. Let's say it again. We cannot do anything about other people. And that's what's in columns 1 and 2.
Nightcap.
Either in the past or the present or even in the future, we cannot do much about self. And that's in column 3. Except make a decision to turn the instincts that make up self over to God. And so that's God's business. The only thing we can do is work on what's in column 4. And that's why this thing that I pointed out here, if you're looking at far right column, that's your business right there. That's what you're tackling out. Over in the 3rd column, it says we made a decision to turn these over to the care of God. And the 2nd column is we cannot change the past. And in the 1st column, we cannot control those people. You dig?
Can you dig it?
Time is it? 8:50? I think we're going to stop right there.
I'm going to read this one last thing because I liked what it said. This is from the Al-Anon thing about step 5. It says, we are building a new life. Some of the building process involves tearing down materials that stand in the way of our plans. But the process also involves taking the best of what we already have and expanding upon it. Our character assets can form the basis of life centered around self-love and self-caring if we recognize and admit their importance. Because the Al-Anon kind of focused, because as a spouse, you get tore down a lot, it seems like. And so they kind of focused on your character assets and really building upon those. And I really liked that paragraph about step 5. Because once you realize all your character defects, like you said, the next step is to start working on the assets.
Yep. So what we need to recap is step 5 is finding the exact. So first thing we did was we have to find the person we trust to, and I suggest finding a good sponsor who has a lot of sobriety, who understands that when you are reading step 5, when you're reading your step 4 to them, that they are not there to judge and look at your actions. They're there to look past your actions and look at the exact nature of your wrongs, because that's what we're getting to. And that's the relief of saying step 5 to a counselor or a sponsor who understands step 5, that they're there to help you find the exact nature of our wrongs, because we have to find the exact nature of our wrongs before we can become entirely ready to have God remove them. If we don't see past it and we're trying to solve the wrong problem, we're wasting our time. So Open our eyes. We must understand that we have this nature that's bent towards wrong inside us. And that's the exact nature we're going for. And and God is the only one who can remove those. First time to get on live in Ireland. Sweet. Just 34:45 a.m. Wow. Thank you.
Do you watch Dairy Girls?
How do you say that name? Mahia? Elliot?
Mahilla?
Madge. Can I just call you Madge?
Mahia, if you're Mexican.
I can't say it right. I'm just going to brutalize it. Look like an idiot. Thanks, Jarek. That was a good joke.
Me and you are in a fight, Jarek.
It doesn't happen when you want. It hits everyone at different parts of your recovery. If you're working the steps in the program, you'll discover the only pathway to spiritual wholeness is only found by following God's redemptive plan. Couldn't have said it better myself. Pursue, though. Dig deep. Be eager to want that eye-opening experience. Mm-hmm. And pursue it as much as you pursued a bag of dope back when you were fiending. Pursue it as much as you were pursuing whiskey before the liquor store closed.
Yes.
Know what I mean? And what's the point about not judging others who you are, because maybe they were once like us at one point in time? Does that make sense?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah. Or we were like them at that point. I don't know.
Is that why we're not judging? Because
not sure.
they were like us and we were like them?
You want to go live right now, Merd? Is that what he's saying right there?
Yeah. Can I go live right now with you and with my father? You got it, Merd.
Oh, shoot. That was only to Facebook. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. There you go, Merd.
Get it, Merd. Oh.
What?
Maybe she does know a handsome fella that lives in Dublin.
Why?
Because Simon's from Dublin and she's in Ireland. That's what Merck says.
Okay, Merd, there's the link, brother. I'm here. Handle it. You can bring him up. I'm gonna grab some more tea real quick.
Yeah, I'll bring him up in a second.
There's the audio. What are you guys doing? What are you doing, daughter?
Letting my clear coat dry.
Yeah, Madge will do. You got it, Madge.
Oh, look at my
Madge. Glad you're here.
They are pink, orange, orange, pink. And the same thing with these ones. I know they all look pink.
Ooh, Madge, tell us your story. Oh, share
Our video.
share our video. All those folks in Ireland, let them know we exist. Here to help. Here to talk to you folks. The kids, here's my beautiful children, my beautiful gifts that made it so that I am able to celebrate Mother's Day. And thank you to all the mothers out there. You are beautiful, wonderful women. And I'm sure you have beautiful, wonderful children.
Shout out to the sober ladies.
And Merc loved them nails.
Thank you.
Said, look at them nails.
Okay, here comes Bird.
Thank you, Mark.
Oh, perfect timing. You just showed up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, headphones. Gosh, dang it. Every time.
Hold on, Murd. We're going to beam him up.
Beam me up, Scotty.
We are going to beam Murd up to the recovering addict spaceship control station. So I want everybody who has not seen Murd's face to get right close to their phones because this is one gorgeous fellow.
He's like,
I know. This is what we do, ladies and gentlemen. We try to stay sober. Look, hello.
What's up, brother?
This is my father, ladies and gentlemen. He's also recovered as well.
What's
Hi,
up?
My name is Sal. I'm a recovered alcoholic. I'm 63 years old. I'm trying to get my son back on the sobriety path of getting high on life, living the moment, and being blessed that he's able to breathe, considering the tragedy around us. Health and life is very precious, and we should be humbled by it. So he fell off the wagon, and this is his day 2. I've been sober for about 6 months on and off. So I'm trying to not force him. I see that there's a and whatever pain he's going through, to share it and channel it, helping others and helping himself. Alcohol, any addiction, it could be like a spiritual cancer if you allow it to. But through kindness, love, and compassion, I believe you could heal yourself and heal others, which is, I believe, is one of the purpose why we're here. So I wanted to share that with you guys and him, and thank you for allowing a forum for him to express himself, and also allowing me to express myself, to heal others, to help others, that we're not alone. We're all in this together, and we're going to make it. And through the process of love, kindness, and compassion, we'll get better. We cannot lose faith in humanity and in ourselves. Happy Mother's Day to the beautiful lady sitting next to you. And thank you for everything. Now here's Mark. Thank you.
so
That was great. That was great.
he's your
That was
sponsor
awesome,
now,
dude.
yeah?
Yes, my father's my sponsor, so I definitely, I
Beautiful.
cannot, that's it. I got to be focused and concentrate about this. And alcoholism is a disease, a virus. It's how you make of it. To me, I like to compare it as a voodoo spell. It really gets a hold of you. There's days where you're trying hard, and that mind just wants to go right, left, right, and then boom, you make these impulsive decisions. And this is great. I want to see more of this in the future with YouTube. I mean, you, LT, James, Nicole, everyone that's a part of this community.
You have a beautiful daughter.
Yes, and my dad
thank
says you have
you.
a beautiful daughter.
Thank
Yes.
you.
I'm lucky. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have him because he's a survivor. He's a fighter, and I know I get a lot from him. I get a lot from my mother. May she rest in peace. She passed away in 2017 with leukemia, and I know she wants me to get better and stay focused. And I don't care about making all the money in the world and materialism and stuff like that. That'll happen eventually. But what's important is getting your mind right
Yes.
and remaining sober. And if you need help, talk to anybody. Like, I'll tell my father, or if I can't reach him, hey, LT, James, if I feel, if whoever I can go to at the moment.
The support is here. The love is here. It's up to you to take ownership of your life and make a change for yourself, because you love yourself.
Yeah.
And there's so much to give. And by you being sober, you'll be able to heal others by healing yourself.
That's Papa Red right there. Papa Murd.
Papa Murd.
Somebody had to fund this kid. I didn't just come from out of nowhere. So we'll take it one day at a time. We'll do what we got to do. Thank you so much for this, really. LT.
Brother, I'm really, I don't want to say envious, but I cherish what you and your dad have right there. That's amazing. Not only is he your father figure of life, but now he can be your sobriety counselor. I mean, that's special, dude. Wow. be grateful for that. That is
It's
amazing.
special since my wife passed away 2.5 years ago, leukemia, dealing with the pain of losing someone. We were married for 43 years, high school sweethearts.
Wow.
So I'm trying to channel that pain into healing, into love. I'm an Uber driver, and I talk to old people all over the world, and I share my experience to inspire them that life is a blessing. It's not here to punish you, and embrace it as a form of a challenge. What can I do, and how blessed we are just to be here?
Yes.
To wake up with breathing, your family, your kids. This corona thing, people cannot even breathe. The stuff that we take for granted, just waking up with breathing is a blessing. And use that to heal yourself and heal others. Learn to love yourself so you could love people unconditionally. That's the biggest challenge that we have. So the experience of me losing my wife, rather than me, my recovery alcoholic, going back to, I channeled that and I said, my biggest regret was not spending enough time with her because I was so busy working and making money. Then I said, but it's not too late to change. You didn't know better, but now you do. So channel that into now being a father and being and loving your kids. It's not too late to change just because you didn't know any better. Now you do. So change. And that's my healing process. Rather than me feeling sorry for myself that I lost my best friend, I said, okay, what you didn't do now, then you can do it now. Heal others and help them, be there, a bridge for them to make a better planet, a better society. We could all love each other unconditionally rather than hating each other and hurting each other, which I don't think is why we're here. That's my personal opinion what my purpose is. And it's not about religion, it's my spiritual feeling that I have, that my inner peace, I get it from giving with unconditionally. And that I have to practice every day, kindness to myself. I love myself unconditionally, love my children. Everybody gave up on him. I told him, no, you could do this. We're taking it one day at a time. This is the second day. He fell off the wagon before. But whoever's listening, never feel alone. You always have somebody to reach to and talk to. The demons that we're facing are part of life, but it's an illusion. The love is what will give you strength and the courage for you to deal with life. Never, never give up on yourself or people because the love is there, but it's up to you to reach it. And thank you very much. And God bless you guys for providing us a forum where it's not about ratings. It's about you being honest. And hopefully we could save someone there and say, hey, you know what? I listened to that crazy man, but he inspired me.
Yeah.
He motivated me to say that there's a reason to live. He had lost a lot of things in his life, but he got up. And there's someone, if he's able to do it, a crazy guy, I have a hope. I have a chance. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Hey, man.
Awesome.
Peace, brother. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, Papa Red.
There we go. It's Papa Red, ladies and gentlemen. So
We love him already.
Yes. So I was gonna do this, and I'm like, why don't I bring him on? You know, because I've been wanting to do this for a while too, and I think it's good for both of us. And I do feel a lot better now, and I wanna maintain this as much as possible, and just stay afloat and don't take your life for granted. Don't take your sobriety for granted. Don't take anything for granted. Treat it with a grain of salt because we're alive, we're well, we're seeing everything. But,
Amen,
thank you
dude.
so much, everyone.
That's something I needed to hear tonight, dude. That was a blessing out of nowhere. Thank you.
I'll bring him back on.
No,
See,
dude,
he's the one. He's the one I got this started originally. No, I'm kidding.
dude, that was beautiful. Like, just I needed to hear. You know, a lot of times I'm on here talking. I don't get to hear some good wisdom all the time. You know.
Yeah.
And that to just happen out of, you know, that was totally unplanned and just perfect. Praise God for perfect timing. You know.
Yeah, and we need it. We need it. We every once in a while we need something good. We need an awakening, and we need to achieve that for what it is. And once you're able to accomplish that, once you're able to achieve those goals in life, I think the rest should be like a piece of cake, you know.
Yep.
But all right, NLT.
All right, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this. Okay. God bless everyone. Bye-bye.
Dude, bye. Oh man, how many people feel so much better now? That made my night. Man.
That was beautiful.
That was amazing. Man, that was amazing.
Good message. Cherish what you got while you got it.
Hey man, that was cool.
Oh yeah, and I got a scrunchie for my pants.
All right, so I'm going to read the 5th step prayer. It says, higher power, my inventory has shown me who I am, yet I ask for your help. In admitting my wrongs to another person and to you, assure me and be with me in this step. For without this step, I cannot progress in my recovery, progress in my recovery. With your help, I can do this. I can do it. Even with that prayer, you can see the importance of 4 and 5, of understanding the exact nature of your wrong before we move on to 6. Because how are we entirely ready to have God remove our shortcomings if we don't know what they are?
Mm-hmm.
Murd, thank you so much for coming on. You guys want to pray with us, or are you eating?
And thanks everybody for joining. And please share. Share.
Yeah, share these videos out, and we can, just like that. You never know what's going to happen. Like a blessing, like what Murd and his father just did. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Now, Father in heaven, please help us to understand our exact nature so that we know what we are asking for. Help us to deeply understand what we are asking for when we are asking you, and to remove our character defects and what they are. And thank you so much for Murd. And please help him to stay on the sobriety train of recovery, and let him and his dad's relationship grow stronger and stronger. And thank you so much for a positive, blessing relationship like we just saw, dear God. We thank you so much in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
We
Well,
will be
always got
back
good
tomorrow
stuff,
at 8,
Aaron.
and I promise we will finish step 5. No, I don't promise that.
It takes as long as it takes. It's
It
okay.
takes as long as it takes. We're on chapter 5. We've been going through, and I think we've had a pattern of hitting 3 days per chapter, which is good. And then tomorrow, please tune in, because we're going to talk about Michael Teeter's story. He's not watching right now, so we're going to have a surprise video for his 60 days. Tomorrow's Teeter 60 days. So tomorrow at 8 o'clock, we'll be here just like always. If you guys want to help us out, please make sure you're subscribed. Share this channel out on Facebook. Start watch parties. Share. And let's help somebody. Just like he said, he's driving an Uber just so he can spread the message of hope of what he has experienced in his life. And I just pray that we all do the same. And I know I'm going to try harder tomorrow after hearing from Murd's dad. But until next time, y'all, stay strong, work your program, and remember, we recover better together.